Hello and welcome to Coordinating Your Chaos with the Blended Mama. My name is Teresa Stone. I am the Blended Mama and I'm an independent brand ambassador with Tula 12. And today I have my friend Lynn Cook, who is here with Intentional Foundations, and we are talking about falling into freedom this month. So on our last episode, we talked about dreaming big and getting past those limiting thoughts. But today, we are talking about financial freedom. And I know that this might be a little bit of a hot topic because anytime you start talking about money, I know it makes me cringe a little bit because it's just hard, right? But I know that we all have big goals, we all have big dreams, but most of them require money to get there. So today we're going to be talking about financial freedom, and I'm going to show you some tools with Tula 12 that can help you reach those goals. And Lynn is going to also talk about some things that will really give you more of that day-to-day life skill on maintaining that financial freedom long term, and not just the one, hey, I paid off a credit card and then I run it back up next month. Because that's not really going to get you where you want to go. All right, so I'm going to let Lynn give us a little bit of an intro to financial fitness.
Well, as Teresa said, my name is Lynn Cook. Online, I'm known as Intentional Foundations. I am actually an independent rep partnered with a company called Life Leadership. So we do offer educational materials and a financial fitness program on personal and professional development. And then we focus specifically on your finances, because whether it be business or personal, that is something that, like Teresa said, that's a very hot topic. It's not something that anyone really wants to talk about, but it needs to be talked about because we as a country are drowning, and yes, we really do need to learn a better way to take care of ourselves. And I'm going to share a little bit of a personal story. I'm very, very passionate about this. I've become even more passionate about this in the past year because, as you all know, last year, a lot of us went through quarantine. A lot of us either lost our jobs or had our hours taken away. We were waiting for, and a lot of us, unfortunately, were not prepared for losing all of that income. Yeah. I actually lost my job. I was in transition when our quarantine happened here in South Carolina, and did not have everything in place for my transition, and was basically without a job for the rest of the year. So from March till December. However, between my savings and investments, I was able to live and pay all my bills until the end of the year. I did not qualify for unemployment. So I had my own savings and my own investments, and that's what I lived on. I paid all my bills and everything until the end of the year when I could get back up and running again. And that's what I want to talk about today, is just breaking through. And my passion is to help you get there and get access to the resources that you need to get yourself back on the right track. Because a quote from a couple of my mentors, Orrin Woodward and Chris Brady, says, referring to financial fitness, it is a process. It's a lifestyle, a way of living, a set of values, and good habits. It's not just a goal to be quickly attained and then forgotten. It's not a matter of becoming complacent. You have to keep going once you've learned that too. Another quote that most people are pretty familiar with, and we're probably unfortunately very familiar with the concept. Will Rogers says, too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't want to impress people they don't like. That's not the way we should be living, unfortunately.
Are you sure?
No, I might be. I might have gone down that road too.
I know it. I totally, and it's so easy to fall into that trap of, you see what everybody else has and you feel like, oh, well, I must need that too if Jim Bob down the street has it. And I think we kind of get sucked into that mentality of living with the Joneses, or keeping up with the Joneses, whatever the saying is. And really, I think that's why it is clear or good to have those clear goals of what you personally want for your life, whether that is living in an RV and traveling the country, right? I know that's one of your personal goals.
Oh, yes.
Or whether that's building the $1 million mansion on the lake. I mean, everybody has their own goals of what they want for them and their family and their lifestyle. And I think it is important for us to make sure that we are going after the things that are important to us, and not just because everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, and I'll share a little secret with you. You mentioned it, keeping up with the Joneses. Well, most of us don't want to admit it, but I'll tell you this. The Joneses are broke too.
Yes.
So sorry to burst your bubble. most likely the Joneses are broke too. And that's why, this is something that's not taught in our school systems. Mm-hmm. So we want, and it's not taught at a college level either. Yeah. Finance majors go through 4 to 6 years of school and they're taught how to manage other people's debt. That's it. They're not taught how to manage your own money and to stay out of debt. And I know some people are familiar with Dave Ramsey, and nothing against Dave Ramsey, but what you also need is a community around you as well, to not just learn the concepts, but also learn how to implement them and have people that you can bounce off of and mentors to kind of keep you accountable as well. And that's something that I offer on top of what you could get just from listening to a podcast. They're great ideas, but sometimes you need to bounce ideas off of other people, because you don't necessarily know, how do I implement this, because my situation is different than yours. Right. And I could talk from a perspective, for example, of being single, but that doesn't necessarily affect someone who's listening. If you're a family, either a single mom or you're a family with multiple kids, younger kids still in school, trying to, the way that you apply these principles are not always going to be the same. So we're going to start off with some of the inserts. I really love this. To be honest, I'm probably going to end up purchasing all of them. And from Tula 12, kind of help, once you get the education, sometimes that's why there's so many different planners and so many different inserts out there, because everybody is different. Everybody's situation is different. Right. So you need to adapt to what you have or what you need to keep yourself accountable when someone else can't be there for you, and to keep yourself on track as well. So we'll go with the Tula 12 inserts first.
Okay, so, and we had talked about this when we were working through this. One of the things that kind of stuck out with me was, if you don't know what your budget is, because I need to be setting mine, we've had a lot of changes just in our personal financial structure and income, revenue, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, things are a little different, so I need to redo my monthly budget. But one of the things that Lynn told me was, if you don't know what your budget is, if you don't know, the first thing you need to do is to track your spending, right? And so that really just stuck out with me, because I don't want to track my spending. I'm a little afraid to track my spending. If I'm 100% honest, I'm afraid to track my spending. But we do have an insert. It's called Purchases and Spending. And I'm sorry, I have the Excel, so it's going to be a little big. But basically, you put in the date, the store that you're shopping, or the vendor, what it is that you purchased. That's the hard one. I don't want to admit that I paid $4.99 for some stupid game on my phone, right? Nobody wants to admit that, okay? But that's what you're going to put. You're going to put the price, and then whether it's shipped or received. I guess that's assuming you're ordering online, which I really try not to, because it can get me into trouble, right? Because it's so easy to shop online and just keep adding to cart. It gets a little scary, right? So, but this is a great way to track your spending. And you can maybe even, instead of a store, maybe you put a category so that you can bucket your money a little bit easier. There, you can always customize our inserts, hide things that you don't need. Maybe you use the ship receive as something totally different, right? As necessary, or like, what's the word? Superfluous. Mm-hmm. Like, right, that's the need versus the want, right? So this is something I had to spend. This is something I probably didn't really need to spend, but I wanted it, so I did, right? So you could totally customize these, but this is just to track your spending. So if you don't have a budget, you have no idea what your budget should be, this is what you want to start with. Okay, so once you've done that, or maybe you already know that, or you already know generally what your budget should look like, then I recommend using the bills and budget insert. And this is another monthly insert. Okay, so you're going to put your checking balance at the beginning of the month and the end of the month, because I guess we should be balancing our checkbooks. I don't do that. Your savings start and end, and hopefully this number is going up, right? That's what we want. You're going to list your deposits. You can put in whenever you transfer money to your savings. You can also track your debt accounts. And then these are where you're going to list your monthly bills. So not necessarily like all the grocery stuff. You might just have one line item that says grocery and your bucket of money. And one thing I do like with Dave Ramsey about the like whenever you are just doing the bucket is if you put the $400 that you plan to spend in groceries in your envelope, when it's gone, you know it's gone. right? So that then you know if you're going to go over budget. So I do like that aspect of it, and that might help you if there are things that you're not having to pay online, you are bucketing them, and you can actually use our cash and coupon to help you do that so that you can keep up with how much money you have left for groceries. Okay. And then you would put the date that it is paid, or maybe the date that it's due, the amount, and then whether it's scheduled. So I schedule most of mine, or they automatically pay. And then you can also just put paid, right? Because you might have some medical bills, things like that just come up, that you would just mark that you paid them, right? Because you're not going to schedule that. Okay. The next one, if you are really looking at long-term financial freedom, is your debt repayment. Okay. And I don't have this as the whole insert, so we're going to just have to look at the printout. But basically, for each debt account, you're going to fill out the page. It has the account, the credit limit, when it's due, the starting balance, your interest rate, which on credit cards is awfully scary to look at, the minimum due, and then the payoff date. And then you can actually track your balance, right? And again, hopefully that is going down. Hopefully we're not continuing to use those credit cards and building a balance. We want to be paying those off. All right. So this is your debt repayment. Could be good for your mortgage, for your car payment, anything like that, that you have a long-term balance on. You want to track them to make sure those numbers are going down, right? Now, the other one I like is actually this shopping list. And this, if you are, maybe you need to do like a little more long-term planning, like Christmas shopping, right? This would be great for Christmas shopping. You just start your list. It's basically like a to-do list almost. And you can list your items that you're wanting to purchase. This could give you a great way for you to do some goal setting. So maybe you have some short-term wants, not needs, right? I mean, you can have one for needs too, but you could list some of the things that you want to get. And then when you've reached a savings goal or something like that, you can actually go get it and check it off. And you're seeing yourself making progress towards all those things that you want to get. And then the last one, especially if you are a business owner, that is super, super important, is tracking your mileage. Now, I need to actually get one of these, and I'm just going to leave it in the car because I don't use my car solely for business. So by using the tracker, I can put just the starting, like when I know I'm going on a business trip, just put the starting mileage and the ending mileage. And then when it comes to tax time, I'm just doing simple subtracting and I can figure out my mileage, right? So this is great if you are a business owner, especially. All right, now what did I miss on those inserts? Did I miss any major points? Because
that's actually
she's
pretty
the
good.
expert.
I personally, one of the things I love is the shopping list, because it's basically a blank slate.
It is.
And for me in particular, I make a list on my phone because I always have my phone with me. So I would use that as more of basically a bucket list.
Okay.
When you start, back when we were talking in the previous video, you're talking about either dreams or dreads. And everybody's got a dream, but what motivates you might be the dread. Mm-hmm. But you're always going to have a dream. Well, don't keep it in your head, because you'll forget, you'll not remember what it was. But if you start writing it down and if you start visualizing it, this can actually be used as more of a bucket list as well, if you prefer that. And just start brainstorming and just start writing down, okay, I want to drive, I want to experience Route 66 if you're in the US. I want to experience, I just want to, for me personally, yes, I want an RV. I want an RV ministry. I want to be able to travel. When it gets too hot and humid in the South, for us, it's the months of July and August.
And September and June, I don't know. It's like half the year, guys. It's a lot of the year.
But I'm originally from the Midwest. So I would love to be able to, if I wanted to, go up north and enjoy a little bit cooler weather in the summertime and get away from the humidity, because it's not good for my asthma. But then as soon as that temperature starts to turn, is to come right back down south and be able to do that without trying to figure out, okay, where do I live? Where's my apartment for 6 months?
Right.
If I want to move back and forth. They refer to us as snowbirds when people do that.
Yes.
Usually the elderly do that. The retirees can do that, not so much the younger generation yet. But I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to, if I need to reach out to a group of people in, God forbid if I ever need to, California, or in the in the West. Sorry, I just don't ever want to go back. Or up in the East Coast. I can do that, and I have everything that I need with me. And no matter how long I have to stay, whether it's a few days, a few weeks, a few months, to minister to whoever it is I'm ministering or I'm partnering with, I can do that. And that's actually one of the dreams that I'm working towards is earning that debt freedom again. I was debt free until last year.
It's going to happen again, though. We're going to name it and claim it, and you're going to get there because you do have the tools to get there. You know how to get there.
Yeah.
And it's just life happens. Sometimes it happens to all of us. Okay. And you were probably more prepared than most of us. I mean, I'm not going to lie. My 15-year-old has more savings than I do. So, you know, you already knew what you needed to do. And yes, you were saving for a dream, but because you had that, you were able to continue to live without really having to rely on other outside influences to support you, right? I mean, obviously friends and family came around too, but really, when it comes down to paying your bills, nobody else is going to pay those for you, right?
No.
Right.
No. Well, we've teased them long enough. Considering I keep talking about, how I was debt free until last year. Unfortunately, last year was rough on all of us, and I know, as prepared as I was, I know that it's got to be hard on everyone listening, even probably more so, because it was a surprise for most of us. A week prior, we didn't have really any idea how this was going to affect us or how long it was going to affect us. But I do want to share something. This is actually the secret to my success, and this is also why I do get very passionate about this program and this information as well, is because back in 2013, I went through a divorce. I went through surgery for a tumor. And after that, I was like, I was in the Midwest at the time dealing with snow. It's a nasty four-letter word.
It's a nasty four-letter word here.
But motivated to move and to change. But every time I moved, every time I made one of those moves, I knew how much further back I got in my finances. So I was very motivated at that point. For me, it was to get away from the snow, to not be in debt any longer and to become debt free. And in 2 years, 26 months, I was able to do that. Making approximately $24,000 a year. So once Uncle Sam takes more than his fair share, it's about $19,000 for the year. So, right at that 18 to 20,000 mark, I was able to pay off 23,000 in 2 years, in just over 2 years. And this right here is the secret to my success right there. Some of you have probably went through the Dave Ramsey program, Financial Peace University. This is similar to it. It's going to be a little bit of a different focus. But what you get with this is a financial fitness program. It is offered by a company called Life Leadership. And what you get with that is the physical copy of it is a book.
Okay.
A workbook.
Oh, y'all know I love some workbooks, right? Because I mean, I'm so visual. I really need to write things down.
And also audios as well. That kind of reinforce.
Are the audios
teachings.
different than the book?
They reinforce what is being taught in the book, because not everybody learns by reading. Some people learn better when they read and listen, and some people learn by audio only. So the physical copy of it is going to have those 3 items in a workbook to kind of reinforce what you're doing. There are 47 financial principles listed in there.
Wow.
A little secret, I only took the first 7. I didn't get past the first 7.
And she still got out of debt, guys.
The first 7 will get you out of debt. Okay. The rest of the financial principles is getting you more focused on afterwards.
So more like investing and growing your net worth? Okay.
Getting you different ideas about in basic investments. Now, this is just an education book. We are not going to give you specific recommendations.
Okay.
We're just going to give you general ideas, and then you apply it to your life. Insurance, different ideas about insurance, investments. Start looking at long-term. It actually at one point talks about where your income is now and what do you need to do to add more to it. Do you need to change jobs? Do you need to, or can you change jobs? Do you need to add a second job? Whatever it is you need to do to get yourself back on the plus side when it comes to finances. We do have a digital version now that we are in the digital age. We do also have a digital version as well now. And I'm going to show you. You're not going to be able to see it. That's actually just a snapshot of the app. It is an app that we now offer. We have become a tech company to offer our financial information to the world, to anyone who has a smartphone, basically. With that subscription, it is a monthly subscription, so you don't pay $200 all at once. You just pay a monthly subscription, and there's so much that I can't even go into. But just on the finance side, you'll get a digital version of what we just showed you. Plus, you get video trainings on top of just the audio trainings. So there's additional trainings, additional teachings on that as well. It is a secure payment platform. So you will keep your financial information secure. If any of you have ever had your bank account or your credit card compromised, this is what we're trying to prevent. And on top of that, you've got access to over 300 brand name stores where you can go in and you can pay and get cash back, instant cash back. Most people are familiar with Rakuten.
Yep.
Ebates, I believe is what it used to be called.
It is, yeah.
And it's very similar to that, except it's instant because it's all digital.
Yeah.
So you'll get instant cash back that then can be used at other stores as well. Yep. And it's not claimed as income. That's the good thing. It's digital. It's never claimed as income. So you don't have to claim it. There's additional coupons and discounts for other vendors, other restaurants, other retailers. And then honestly, the part I love, because the majority of my bucket list is travel. Mm-hmm. I love to travel. My resume for where I've lived in the last 30 years is pretty messy.
But that means it's pretty exciting too, because you've gotten to see a lot of the country.
I have. I've lived in multiple states and I love it. And I average about 5 or 6 years, and then I'm ready for the next one. And I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting close. But South Carolina is kind of growing on me. But you get deep discounts. I mean, we've partnered with Priceline to offer deep discounts at not only hotels, but then we've also got access to timeshare resorts. So for those of you with bigger families that need larger rooms or more rooms, mm-hmm. or the full kitchens, I mean, we've got hotel rooms all over the world. We've got access to resorts all over the world for $400 to $600 a week,
right?
Total. That's not per night.
Right.
We're just looking for different ways and different resources to not only educate you, get you back on the right track, but then give you ways of saving money and what we refer to as fighting inflation. As well, because your income, your pay raises are not keeping up with the rate of inflation.
They are not.
So we're doing whatever we can to keep your financial information secure, to fight inflation in whatever way you can, keep more of that money in your household, but then also give you a way that when you're ready to take a vacation, when you're ready to celebrate a milestone, or you're ready to take that vacation with your family, you can do so and it doesn't break the bank, because you could spend $400 to $600 a week for a timeshare where all of your family stays together and you're not in multiple hotel rooms as well. One of the other things that is actually available, the physical version of that is available on my website, and it is lifeleadership.com and /61601-723. That's my personal website. You just sign up as a customer and then you can shop. It doesn't cost you anything to sign up. You can just shop and look through any of those, the audios or the books that we offer through our website. It's on personal development, professional development, and then also financial freedom, financial development as well. If you want the digital version of it, then you just need to message me, because that is something I have to send you the link via text message. So because it is an app on your phone, I have to send it to you via the phone.
So how do they reach out to you? What's your email?
My email address, which is what I was accidentally giving before, is financiallyfree138@gmail.com. Or you can also message me through Facebook it's a business page called Intentional Foundations. One other recommendation, this is actually available as a physical copy on our website. And one other book that would trigger some interesting thoughts on how to manage your money and changing that mindset. We talked about mindset before, is actually called The Richest Man in Babylon. It is an old book. It's been around for quite some time, but very much a very popular book, highly recommended by our leaders as well.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us
You're
today, Lynn.
welcome.
It is always a little nerve-wracking to talk about finances. I'm not going to lie. It is definitely not my favorite topic, but you have given us some great information, some great resources. So if you have questions for Lynn, make sure you find her on Facebook at Intentional Foundations. And if you are interested in any of the inserts to go along with this and really work towards that falling into freedom from financial debt, you can find me at theblendedmama.net. And there is a shopping link, or you can just email me and I will help you find the specific inserts to help you. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us today. We will see you again next week. Y'all take care.